Is there a process in your organisation that's just simply not working? You know it may require some investment, but you're not really in a position to be able to explain it, to be able to get your sponsors on board and be able to fix it. In this short video, I'm going to show you how mapping a customer journey can help you to identify key pain points and then map out a clear path forward for improvements. If we're just meeting for the first time, my name's Kirk Penn. I'm the Principal Advisory Consultant at Service Management Specialists. I'm an ITIL expert and I've been helping organisations to get clear and make significant improvements with their IT service management capabilities for the past 15 years. A customer journey is basically a visual representation of a customer's path when interacting, buying, or seeking a service from your team. Customer journeys are helpful in understanding the customer's key touch points when interacting with your team. Customer journey mapping provides a great opportunity to storyboard the current state service experience. It also provides an opportunity to understand any key pain points and be able to reflect on any service experience that may not be running as smooth as perhaps what it can. Let's now look at an example. Okay, so here's an example, and in fact it's one that we worked with a client a couple of years ago on. And this customer journey in particular is around a new starter joining the organisation and looking at onboarding them into the IT area. So that's ensuring that they've got the right hardware and also ensuring they've got the right access for their IT as part of joining the organisation. This is quite a common one across the work that we do. However, I want to start by just showing you this example from a current state vision perspective. So this is ideally how the process should work from a vision perspective. So let's start. So we've got a line manager who completes the IT hardware request form and also completes an IT access request form. From there, it moves through to an approval stage where, and this is really related to either the financial side or a cost or an approval. Now, maybe the line manager is able to actually approve it herself, or it may go to the next level for approval. Once that's done, it then splits into two tasks, one being the IT hardware is ordered and the account setup or provisioning is underway as well. So the various activity around account setup, AD, Microsoft Office 365 and basic business apps plus any other specific role apps as requested. Once all that's provisioned, the line manager then receives both the laptop and also the access ready for handover to the new starter for day one. Great, so I just want to emphasize back that we have been looking here, this process here, around the actual vision. So what I want to do now is, and this is something you can do, is I want to actually start to look at, well, what actually happens. So we had a vision for the process, but now what actually happens. And this can be done as part of a workshop or whether you want to get the right stakeholders in a room. But this is really the opportunity where we look at the end-to-end customer journey and we say, well, what's actually not working? So in this case, we know that the customers are actually not happy. Why and how do we know this? We were getting a lot of feedback about it. It's coming down from management. And in this case, our credibility is being damaged. So what's the first thing? Well, the first real issue really around this end-to-end customer journey is that we've got too many forms to fill out. Both the IT hardware request and IT access forms, just too many. In terms of the IT hardware ordered, we know that it can take up to 10 days for delivery of that hardware. And this is really just too long from a end user's perspective and for a new starter. The third thing really is around the provisioning of the access. So across these three things here, there's actually no SLAs. And that's a real problem because what we do know is that it's having a real impact in terms of what's actually happening. The end user may receive a laptop without any access. We also know that, and the fourth point really is that there's no coordination here between receiving hardware and also access. So once it goes to the customer, they have to manage these things, and it's actually quite confusing for them. And the last thing is that once they receive both the hardware and also the access, there's no real intro or overview of how for the new starter to be able to use this in the new environment. So let's have a look at these key points. And what we're starting to do now is we're starting to frame these key points into what we call a high-level improvement initiative. So number one, we want to combine the IT hardware access forms into one. So it's the hardware and the access forms into one, and we think that's going to take about 30 days. The second thing is we want to forecast and buy hardware stock and have these pre-built and on-site ready for allocating to new starters. We think that's going to take us about 60 days. Third thing is we want to allocate SLAs for provisioning access, and we want to target that within 48 hours. We also want to seek to automate as much of that as possible. We know that in the market that there's a lot of offerings around that. The fourth thing is, as an interim, we want to allocate a service desk analyst or someone in the service desk to do that final check and to package both access and hardware before handing over to the new starter from an experience perspective, until we can get this process doing and working as it should be. Then the last thing is we want to be able to offer a quick walkthrough of the new user's setup as well. We think that's going to take us about 30 days to be able to set that up. So you can see here we're actually starting to plan for an initiative, an improvement initiative, that we're actually able to start taking to our stakeholders and sponsors to be able to sponsor this as an initiative. So just finally, as we work through this, let's have a look at the proposed target state and what we've actually done. First thing is we've combined the IT access and hardware request form into one. Second of all, we've managed to put in a 48-hour SLA around the access for provisioning of the account setup. We've also been able to bulk order a number of IT hardware laptops and have those pre-built so that we're ready to go for every order that comes through. Finally, we've put a final checkpoint in here where we've got the IT service desk who is taking the laptop and also taking the access, doing some final checks and ensuring that it's ready to go for the customer before we hand that over. Customers wrapped because they know that they're going to be able to get those and it all makes sense, which will speed up the process. And then finally we're also going to be able to walk through that new user with the new environment and their new hardware as well. So this as an example provides you with an understanding of a customer journey, and you can use customer journeys for a number of different ways. This is just one way, and as I said before, one we've used with a customer a couple of years ago. In fact, we tidied up all of these areas for them. So finally, just want to just explore just for a moment why use the customer journey approach. Well, really it focuses the review and the improvement ideas on the customer experience, and it's significantly important that we put our customer at the forefront of everything that we're doing. Second thing is it's simple for sponsors to understand improvement areas and gain buy-in. So often when we're taking these types of improvement ideas back up to sponsors, there's a cost associated with that. We want to be able to show them what we want to do in a very short space of time. And then thirdly, it frames up that high-level improvement initiative. And as we started to see before, we started to put 30, 60, 90-day terms around each of those improvements. So we've got a really clear understanding of potentially how long this is going to be able to take to get these improvements in place. The question of the day. So are you using customer journeys to review and frame up your improvements? And if so, what strategies work best for you? Let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, then please click on the like button and consider subscribing to Service Management Specialist channel. We're committed to helping digital and business leaders become more successful with their improvement initiatives, bringing you weekly tips, tools and insights across your processes, people and collaboration. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.